Okay, it is recording. Although it looks like a lot of people are unmuted. Sorry, no, it's fine. Okay. Okay, welcome to Hammond North. It's 6:05 on April 22nd for the regular monthly meeting. So for the roll call, Gil Pat,
Here.
Jan Welch,
Here.
Chris Conti,
Here.
Tim Fritz,
Here.
Tracy Smiley.
It's Tim.
Okay. Tracy, oh wait, Tracy, can you unmute yourself? All right, Jan, can you?
I am.
Okay. Okay, Tracy's unmuted. Okay, good. Okay, and Randy is unavailable. All right, that's a call to order. First order of business would be the approval of minutes. Gil?
Make a motion that we approve the April 8th minutes.
Any discussion for any board members?
Second.
Chris? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes for April 8th? Okay, 6 out of 6. Okay, manager's report, Greg?
Just one thing this evening, John, thank you. We finally were successful in solidifying the rebate that's due to the association from Cincinnati Waterworks. So we should be receiving that check in the next 3 to 4 weeks for about $38,000 and some change. That's taken us a while to get there, but I think a little perseverance and some consistency, we were able to go ahead and bring that home. So I'll keep you posted once we receive it. And that's all I really had, John, this evening, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Greg? Okay, the next item would be the treasurer's report. Tracy? Can you hear me, Tracy? Tracy's volume is down. Tracy, can you hear me? Can somebody text Tracy? We'll move along to the next item. And that will postpone then Treasurer's Report and Finance Committee. The next report be the vendors agreements. I think, Jan, you're the first one on grounds contract.
Wait, Tracy says I can't hear. So
Right. So I try to call her, and then could somebody else call her so Jan can report on the grounds committee?
Well, there's nothing to really report except that the landscaping contract is up, and I think that's separately on the agenda, right?
I don't have it separately. I thought it was going to be, you were going.
Okay, so we have that to discuss and approve, hopefully. Greg, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
This is basically bi-weekly or bi-monthly, however you want to look at it. Mowing and maintenance of the meadow and
Hi, Tracy, this is Chris. You can't hear us, but perhaps you need to turn the volume up on the electronic device you used.
Okay. I'm trying to say it properly.
Hang on. Okay, I just muted Chris, who's talking to Tracy. Okay, Greg, please continue.
Well, essentially, this is just to go ahead and maintain the grounds at the minimum level through, the spring and summer months. It's mowing every 2 weeks at a maximum, unless there was something else that came up that we needed and the board would approve in advance, and some minimal pruning around the grounds. That's just to maintain the curb appeal through the season, and we do have a 30-day out. So in the event and when the building is sold, we'll be able to get out of that out of that contract. But that'll carry us through the summer if need be. That's kind of it on the short. Jan, did you need anything else?
No, what would be the, what's the amount, like, I don't know, per month or ultimately for the year? Is there
Well,
some?
the annual off the top of my head is because we removed the pruning, we didn't feel like that was necessary. So the
Right.
annualized, it would be a little bit over 6,000.
Okay,
And that's typically the season, that's 24 mowings. So in our case, it would be closer to 12, plus some basic minimal groundwork and landscaping care. That's what it comes out to. And again, it would be less than that when the building's sold. It would just be what's utilized up to that point.
right. So,
Right,
okay.
right now the grass is up to our shins.
Yeah. So if there are no other questions or comments about that, I'll move that we accept that contract.
Is there a second? Chris Conti seconds. Any comments? Yeah, Gil.
I don't think we need any of the services beyond the bi-weekly services that they mentioned in their agreement. That'll take, I don't know, close to another $1,000 off of it. We don't need the application for weeds and things. What I see in the bi-weekly maintenance and talks about doing the beds and that, and cleaning up, it should be sufficient for the way that I feel the building should be maintained.
Well, for what I mean, I don't know about applying a weed control, but everything else, I think it's just, it's a minimal amount. Should we need it? We're trying to sell the building. We don't, that's not all done yet. I think it's worth the extra money, which is not very much, but don't know what other people think.
So someone want to talk to the price that was on it about the pruning? Are we deducting that from it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we already said that, yeah.
Okay, that's $5,000, I think, for two different applications. Or, sorry, 2,500, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Anybody else want to talk about the items that Gil is talking about? Any other comments about the contract then?
I'd like to submit mine as a modification to the motion.
It would be amendment to the motion. So,
I
Jan,
don't, no, I would rather just vote on it the way it is first.
okay.
I don't know if you are taking questions yet. You didn't.
Well, that's one way to do it. The other one, we could take a vote on I believe we could take a vote on whether to pass the amendment.
Okay.
Any other comments before we do that? And John, I'll call on you after we do this vote. I think that's the way we generally do it, these votes.
Okay, so this vote is whether to accept Gil's amendment.
That's right. The vote is to accept Gil's amendment that from the bill that everybody has is the annual, there's a biweekly mowing and other related things. From the bill, the pruning twice a year is deducted. It's a question of deducting the other items. Do I have that right, Gil?
That's correct. And
Okay.
just accepting the bi-weekly service.
Okay. All right. No other comments from the board? Then I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor of accepting Gil's amendment? Okay. Those opposed to Gil's amendment? Okay, the amendment doesn't pass. All right, then for the original amendment, original motion, any other comments about the original motion? Okay, then all those in favor of accepting the contract as amended? All those in favor?
It's not, yeah, it's not amended, is it? Or,
No, not amended.
okay.
And I can't, Tracy was on, I'm not sure where she is now. So that would be,
She's
I
on.
think. Okay. Oh, so Tracy, I don't know, can you verbally, because she unmuted? Yes, Tracy. this, to move along, this is counted as four, one opposed and one, we'll say abstaining right now. So the motion passes. Okay, so the next question then on the agenda would be property management. Tim, you want to report on that? Oh, wait, before we do that, John had his hands up. So can we unmute John?
Oh, wait, I was still working on Tracy.
It's
Okay.
sort of a mute issue now because I thought you let questions go before you voted. Neither here nor there. I get that's $1,000 and that we're voting it, but we're not selling this because of weeds. We're selling it to keep the grass maintained, and every little bit helps. And I know $1,000 is like a penny to all of us, but those $1,000 and all this adds up. And when you have some people in the building who are struggling to pay for the rent and pay for the dues and this and that, these little things add up. That's all I'll say. I know it doesn't seem much, but these little things add up, and you have already voted on it, so it's a moot point, but I just wanted to express that.
I understand, John. Okay, then Tim, do you want to report on the property management?
You need to unmute Chris.
Where is he?
Yeah, can we mute Chris?
I'm looking for him. There he is.
Sorry, Tim.
Got it.
Chris and I have a conference call with Judd from Town Properties tomorrow morning at 11 to work that property management contract out. So we should have something in the next couple of days.
All right, any questions for the board? Any questions from owners? Okay, the next item is insurance for the building. Gil?
Let's see. We had a call today with Treehouse about the insurance for the property that's coming up and for the D&O insurance, because we have received notice from the current D&O insurer that they are not going to renew us. As far as the property management goes, he thought we were probably in a pretty good spot at least from the standpoint of the market right now. It seems like there's more people not being so tight on what their restrictions are. But anyway, he said he would get back to us probably between the first part of June and the middle of June on whether or not we can extend our current insurance with them for month to month, or if we're going to have to sign a new agreement. If we do sign a new agreement, they're telling us that we'll probably be responsible for at least the first quarter. That's typically how that business is operated. As far as the D&O, they feel like it will be about that same timeline, first to mid of June, that they'll be able to find a new insurer for the D&O insurance. Did I miss anything, John?
No, I think that covered it all.
You guys hear me okay?
Any other comments about that from the board?
Up a little higher.
I think I hear Tracy, but it's really low.
Yes.
Can't hardly hear you, Tracy. We can hear you, but not really.
You try again, Tracy?
Oh, yeah, she's trying a headset.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, good.
Okay, perfect. No, I was just gonna say, Gil, if we can stay closely connected on the insurance, as we start planning for the new budget year, that's something we need to take into consideration on, the length of the insurance policy and what that will look like.
Tracy, it is a bit low. Can you see if anything you do to raise the volume?
Can you hear me okay now?
Well,
It's not any better.
You might just really enunciate carefully, Tracy, and talk slowly, and then we can probably get most of it.
Okay.
No.
it's even worse now.
That's okay. I'll figure it out.
Okay,
Tracy, I did hear what you said about the insurance, and we will certainly keep you informed. As soon as we know something, you'll know something.
Thank you.
okay. That covered both the insurance of the property and the DNO. I had as an item on the agenda. So for legal, the Porter litigation. Well, first, are there any questions from the owners about the insurance? Okay. Porter litigation, we did have a response to our counteroffer. There have been a number of offers, counteroffers back and forth. So the Porter plaintiffs did have a counteroffer. But other than that, we're going to have a phone call with Ian Mitchell for what the prospects are going forward. But that's all the particular update we have for that. However, there are 3 questions which on the Porter which are submitted. And let me summarize at least the first one, which is that there was a hold on the date of December 11th that was last year for that case, but the case has now been listed and is listed for March of 2027 to be in the court. And the question is, how does this development in the Porter et al. Lawsuit impact the sale of the building, either by direct sale or by petition? As we've said before, what we hope to do is get this resolved before we sell the building. If it doesn't impact closing, we can still close. It will impact the distribution of funds. We certainly have to pay for legal expenses if it goes further. It's hard to say exactly how it's going to go at this point, but that is the current situation. The second question is, what is the board's plan regarding either continued attempts at mediation or moving to defend the association at trial in the Porter et al. Case? As I mentioned, we've been in communication pretty regularly with Ian Mitchell from the Remington law firm. And so that there have been internal discussions about what to do. What is looming is possible discovery and depositions and possible legal suits, legal motions that could be filed in the case. We hope to do continual mediation. As far as we're concerned, mediation has not been called off. I don't know how that relates to the lifting of the court date for March of 2027. The third question is, what are the expected costs to owners of the ongoing litigation to the Porter et al.? At this point, there's no additional costs beyond legal costs. There are legal costs. I believe they run in the neighborhood of about $5,000 a month. But as long as it's settled by the closing date, which we don't have a closing date, we don't have a contract signed with Mike Stacy, then there is not additional cost to the owners. If it goes further, then clearly the cost annual budget of the association would probably still be in place to some extent. But if the building's sold, those would be drastically reduced because one of the big items, let's say, is security. So if the building is sold, there'll be no more security that we're responsible for. So I think those are the 3 questions on that case. I'll call on the board first, Jan Welch, and then Gil.
So you said $5,000 a month for legal. Is that all for the Porter case?
I think that is what it is now in the Porter case. When we had mediation, it was significantly more. I think it was around 15,000 for that. But there aren't daily calls with Remington firms. So I believe that's top of my head. That's the guess on what that cost is.
Well, and Remington doesn't necessarily cost us unless we have because we don't pay for him. But
that's right. I misspoke if I said it was Remington. It's a cost for the Finney law firm as much as they participate in reviewing some of the documents, et cetera.
Thank you.
Gil.
That's what I was going to bring up. Most of those costs should be covered by the DNO insurance.
Yeah, I think they are, but that probably entails working with Julie on various aspects of the Porter case that she's involved with. Any of the board questions? Okay, can you unmute Marion?
Hi, yeah, question, is the Porter case amenable to arbitration, or is that another circumstance?
I don't think that's been discussed. I don't know how either sets of lawyers would feel about it. I can't answer that.
Okay,
Can we ask?
yeah.
We could ask.
Okay,
Any
okay,
other questions? All right, then, the next we had on is the Burnham settlement. Gil, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, we have followed up with our attorney on that, and they are still waiting for the Burnham's attorney, who has been uh, assigned, has agreed to write up the settlement offer that everybody has agreed to. I will follow back up with them this week to see if we can get some push on that and get that resolved. They've come to the agreement. It's just a matter of getting the settlement written up so everybody can sign it. That's my understanding. John, is that your understanding?
I know there's a lawyer who's writing up. It might be Burnham's lawyer. It might be the insurance companies. I'm not sure.
But as far as the basic agreement, is been agreed to. It's just a matter of getting it written up and signed.
I agree.
Okay.
And we've heard the same story many times, and we have to push it further, get it behind us.
As far as the Seaward situation lawsuit, we know it was this was a lawsuit that was filed last year. We had it dismissed, and they had a year to refile it, which they did, and we are working to get that motion dismissed again. And I'll have to follow up with our attorney on that this week.
Any questions of the board on that case or owners? Okay, the next one I have listed is partition process. The petition process, there is a flow chart. One of the owners asked about that. From what I understand from Julie Gugino, that flow chart isn't exactly the way the process works. So it is moving forward exactly what stage it is. To be honest, I haven't looked at that recently, but we've been in regular communication with Julie and tried to move that one forward too. It is going simultaneously. We're not holding back on any of that. We hope the direct sale will work, but the petition is the other option. Okay, if no questions, then the next one is the sale, MA.
There's a question.
Can you mute MA? I'm not sure who MA is.
It's Michelle. I believe there's a court date set for the partition in September 28th. Is that accurate?
I'll take your word for it. I really haven't looked at the court date. I don't know.
I would think the board would be informed of that. So I think that, that's just a few months away. So, okay, thanks.
Yeah, Gil, can you follow up with that and ask Julie what's going on with that?
I would
will add that.
assume if it's in September, there would be a big push to get everything ready for that. Or are
I
you
understand.
guys slow rolling it because of the potential direct sale?
No, not at all. But
Okay,
this
thank
is,
you.
yeah, but this is a court case that I don't believe any of the owners of the board has to appear in it. So it's really in the lawyer's hands. I believe it had been mentioned. I just can't confirm the exact date and exact hearing, but we'll follow up. It's a good point. Okay, can we unmute Tracy? You have your hand up.
It was just to be unmuted.
Okay, good enough.
I keep
Uh,
doing that. Wait a minute.
That's all right.
Oh, wait, no, that was Marion DeFalco that time. They bounce around, sorry. All right, who do you want to talk to?
Chris would be next.
Neoporte.
Yes.
Yes. So I'll say this up front. My question's only kind of like tangentially related to the partition, but it's kind of my bank the other day when I was talking with my mortgage servicer apparently has decided to charge off my loan and pursue a deficiency judgment against me for the remaining balance. And they referred me to a lawyer at Dinsmore to talk to them about it. And when I contacted the lawyer at Dinsmore, she says she can't talk to me because I've retained counsel, and she copied Julie Gugino on the email. But so my question is there a way to get a letter either from you or her that says that she's only representing us in regards to the partition action completely like by itself and not any other matters? Because it looks like it may be looking to a lot of mortgage companies like anyone who has a mortgage is now with counsel, and they're only going to talk to counsel. And I know I can't reach out to Julie directly.
Well, yeah, I was unaware of this. One, you should send me anything you have in writing, send the board that information, and we can talk about it to Julie. Two is that I'm not sure whether you're a defendant or a plaintiff in the partition action, but either way, Julie is representing the plaintiffs, but we need to get this all processed. And we certainly don't want the banks to come back on you. So give us the information. This has happened before with some other people, and Julie's been cooperative trying to deal with some of the banks.
Yeah, it literally just happened. Like, I got a response from this other lawyer at Dinsmore today. So it's literally the first I've heard of it. That suddenly I've retained counsel. Like, I knew she was representing us because I am a plaintiff. Like, I signed on to it in that matter only. But it just was like, oh, I hope this isn't going to screw with a lot of other people. That's why I wanted to ask about it. But I will forward you the email that I got from her. And I have not gotten a response back from her when I said that this person is not representing me, and I haven't retained her for any other services. So, but all right, that was my question.
Okay, thank you. Marion? Can we unmute Marion?
Oh,
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Okay, hi. I realize the board has a lot on your plate, but I do think that the process of the petition is very important. Granted, we hope that this third offer will materialize into a sale, but since we got ideas about petition taking 1 to 2 years to 10 years, it really would be important to know where we are, what the predictions are, what the steps are. I think it affects all of us. So I would like the board to be more specific the next time we talk about it. Thank you.
It's a fair comment, Marion. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions about the partition action? Okay. The next item on the agenda, I think that actually was all the items, but Tracy, we did not do the treasurer's report. Let's check whether we can hear you.
Can you hear me, guys? Okay.
Loud and clear.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't have it on the agenda this time, but we can do it next week. The finance committee just met on Monday to review the financials for the month of March. And I'll have a formal report then, since we'll have a meeting next Wednesday.
Okay. Any particular questions from the board they could ask about the finance meeting or owners? All right, I think that's the agenda that I had. Any other agenda items? Well, there's a question. Kate Nolan, can we unmute Kate? Yeah, Kate.
Oh, yes, thank you. Can you give us any more information about Stacy? Other than the PSAs being drafted, or
Actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I should have covered that. I have some notes on this, which is that there's been a lot of back and forth on the PSA. Originally, we received the draft PSA from Mike on April 3rd. April 6th, the negotiating committee, which was on the agenda, which is that it's Gil Patton, Tim Fritz, and I met with Mike on April 6th. From that discussion, we then presented what Mike had said on April 8th, the executive committee. We then, off of that, went back and parsed a document about what the issues that we all had, edited it. On Monday the 13th, we sent that to Isaac. Isaac Hines from Finney. On 15th, we got that back. It came to us, and we forwarded on to Mike Stacy on the 17th. Then I believe on the 18th, we got a copy back from Mike on that. There were calls we forward that on to Isaac Hines. We had comments back on that. And today at 3:30, we received another redlined contract from Mike Stacy. So that's really the timetable, that every few days is another step moving the issue back and forth. In terms of some of the issues we discussed, again, Kate, I'm glad you asked the question. I slipped over that. It was on the agenda. Some of the issues that we've discussed, and many of these we have resolved. One is, what is the role of the HOA and the role of the sellers, individual owners, and that we didn't want to have a legal document that included the owners are legally responsible. It's really a document between the HOA and the buyer. The timing and delivery of the consent to sell forms. When do we have to deliver to Mike all the existing forms we have? And when do we have to all 180 forms? One twist in that is there are some forms that owners have edited, deleted, added language, and there is going to be provisions in the contract that their attorney, Mike's attorney, can review those and timetables to then us to get back to him with those that they want changed, and that we may have to ask owners, a handful of owners for other ones. What is the timetable for closing? There is a period of the due diligence, and there are different opinions still on that one. There's an entitlement period of trying to get all the zoning and permit requirements that Mike needs to get. There is insurance provisions that were discussed. I think they've been resolved. We asked for the insertion of language we can continue with the partition action. Going back to Marion's question, that just because we sign a contract does not mean that we can't continue that. There's language in there about the financial information that the buyer, Mike Stacy, has to deliver to us, and language that we have to qualify that as to whether the board is satisfied with that information. There's a new article we inserted on the current state of the building, and also the board, as an unpaid consultant, not to ask for any other offer, to put in there that we have the ability to not hire, we can talk to a consultant and get their advice on how we're doing. But again, it's an unpaid. So those are, I think, some of the major issues we've discussed. Jan.
What a long day.
Thank you.
You okay?
Yeah. So I think a lot of what John explained is also
I'm
an answer
getting-
to a question that
I don't need
another
to hear any more of this. They're all.
Owner asked, which is why basically is it so complicated? We have a willing buyer. Why can't we just sign with them and sell the building? And I think that whole list of things that John just went through is the answer to that question. And as Gil put it earlier, we still have to look out for all of us, for all of the owners. And the amount of time, for example, in due diligence, the amount of time for closing, it can vary dramatically, and we can't just ignore that stuff because it might seem simple right now. Anybody else have anything to add to that? I know it seems like, oh God, why can't we just do this? But
Anybody else from the board? Okay, then I'll call it then on Mick. Can we unmute Mick?
yeah. Okay.
Still muted.
I'm trying to unmute him.
Does he have to unmute himself also?
He has to respond to a message to unmute.
But it's not taking.
One second.
There you go. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
Mick.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple comments or and/or questions about process primarily. At the beginning of the meeting, as far as I know, John didn't announce that questions were going to be permitted. I didn't find out until John asked his question. And I think that would be better to know that in advance. And then secondly, I didn't know about chats either until I went into my chats about 20 minutes into the meeting. So that would have been good about whether or not chat was going to be permitted or not also. And then lastly, the vote on Gil's proposed amendment was not announced to the group, and I would have appreciated what the count on that was. That's it. Thank you.
Point taken about the announcements I should have made. Gil, I believe it was 1-4, and Tracy wasn't, I think, was in and out at that point. Do you have any notes other than that?
I'm looking.
No.
That's just a vote on the amendment.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay.
All right.
And
Thank
chat
you.
is not supposed to be on. If it is.
Well, it's not on, but I wasn't aware of that until I went into it, which was like 20 minutes into meeting. But if we had chats and then, but several, 3-4 previous meetings to this one, we did not have chats. And I understood, that we didn't have chats tonight, but it would have been good just to clarify that at the beginning.
Point taken. I think I should have.
Thank you.
So
That's all.
Are there any other items that I missed on the agenda? I think we covered everything otherwise.
You're there.
Okay, one point I should make is that we will not be having a special meeting. This is a month away on May 20th because a number of us are not available then. So we will make that announcement in one calls also for owners who aren't on the call. If there's no other items, it's a motion to adjourn.
I still move.
Jan moves
Second.
it, Chris seconds it. All those in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you.
Did you get the recording, John?
Let me get to it. Okay, it's terminated.
Okay.